Plus, to be part of your day, coming up, we will cover the president declaring a national emergency. First, we go to Dr. Bruce Hartman, joining us from North Carolina, talking a little bit about the Bible and, of course, Nancy Pelosi. Good morning, sir.
Hey, how are you today? Thank you for having me.
Good to have you back, author of Jesus and Company. So it seems that we are injecting biblical verses into the business world. Whatever happened to the separation of church and state?
Well, there's a couple of issues there. One is when it says the separation of church and state, I think a lot of people misconstrue that piece in the Constitution. What it says is that the state will support no religion. It doesn't say it doesn't support religion. And because the second part of it says, but all Americans have the right to practice whatever religion that they have. So there's really two statements there that I think sometimes the secular world just focuses on the first, which is the state will support no religion. It doesn't mean that we're not a country that supports God or believes in God. In fact, our currency says in God we trust. So it's always a interesting debate for me. But I do believe that we are a Christian country and we do follow God, and that 90% of Americans do believe in God.
Of course, on the other hand, it seems the media and some members of government seem to be anti-Christian.
It does seem that, but some of that is when you break the issue out into two aspects, right? The first aspect of it is the polls are indisputable in terms of whether it's Pew Research or Gallup poll will tell you 90% of Americans believe in God. 75% of Americans identify themselves as Christians, practicing Christians. That's a huge identity for our country, number one. But number two, I think a lot of times it's become fashionable to be anti-God and anti-Christian. And it's a way for particularly the more liberal outlets to sell their ads because they have an audience that they think that's what they want to hear. And so when I hear this anti-Christian rhetoric, I also see it as more of a monetary decision on somebody's part as opposed to a real faith belief.
Dr. Hartman, we've got some breaking news going on. We'll get you back. We've had you on before, but if people want more of your book, what can they do, sir?
You can go to Amazon. You can actually download it right now if you want, because it is on ebook. And if you want a printed copy of the book, you can also order it on any of the major bookstore websites. And actually, it's in a lot of the national bookstores throughout the country.
Well, we love having you on. We apologize for this, but we will definitely have you back. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. There we have it, Dr. Hartman. Coming up, the president expected to sign the $1.37 billion for border security. The president expects to spend about $8 billion on the border wall. Nancy Pelosi is mad. Let's go to your phone calls before we go to the president. Brian in Nampa, good morning. You're on with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Kevin. You know I'm no fan of Nancy's, but I just had to share this with you. She, through CBS, had threatened the GOP that basically if a Democratic president got in, he could declare a national emergency on gun control, basically. And it's all over Instagram and YouTube. You can see it. And she better be careful with her words. There's a lot of upset people out there because of that. And I believe we should build a wall. I agree the president needs to get it done. And everybody that says it's unconstitutional, yeah, Obama did, 30 of these? It's just, and the lady that called in and said, we need to get along, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. That's because you live in Idaho. If you had ever lived down in Texas or New Mexico or somewhere down there where you dealt with the illegals coming over and them attacking your family, she might have a different scenario. And I agree with her. We need to get along. But the problem is when you do get pushed in the corner, sometimes you can't get along. So anyway, another fine little statistic you all might be interested in learning is that registration leads to confiscation. It is began in California. A guy built an AR-15 pistol and did it to what he thought all the California laws stated the regulations were. And the cop showed up and said, no, that's an assault pistol. You can't have that in California, and took it. So the next time a Democrat says, we follow the Constitution, and yeah, look at California. Got any questions for me, Kevin?
Brian, I think you've covered it. Thank you, brother.
You bet.
All right, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning. The president expected to make the big announcement, declare an emergency. We'll get your thoughts on that as we roll along. Let's go to Tea Party Robert, publisher of the Gem State Patriot, with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today?
I am living the dream, and you?
I'm dreaming about living.
Well, that's good. That's reassuring. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so tired of listening to these armchair presidents like Ann Coulter, who thinks she's right about just about any subject she decides to talk about. Now, if she wants to make policy for the country, she should put up her money and run for the office of president or shut her mouth. She has no clue what Trump is doing, why he is doing it. And I think, that's what she's missing in her conversation. I don't remember reading her book, The Art of the Deal by Ann Coulter. So I will let the guy we elected to office of president make the decisions, as he has had a lot more experience in negotiating than she has ever had in her lifetime. And I sure wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with this lady during a firefight. She would be the first one to surrender because she didn't like the way the general was running the war. Every day we hear about more of these onerous things that are being done or have been done at the FBI and Justice Department to thwart the election of President Trump.
Well, how about Andrew McCabe disclosing that they were going to use the 25th Amendment against him? Rosenstein, as we know, whatever, he wasn't joking when he was going to wear a wire on the president. What the heck? This was a coup.
Well, I think the good thing is now that we have a new attorney general who was sworn in yesterday, William Barr, and I do think he's going to be starting some investigations both into the FBI and the Justice Department. And with a lot of luck, he's going to be able to remove and prosecute many of the cockroaches that are still getting paid to undermine the president. Lastly, the Democrats are working very hard to implode themselves with their radical policies, and the public is catching on very quickly. When it's all said and done, I do believe they will implode all by themselves before the 2020 election. They may actually have to run someone like Biden or Michael Bloomberg as moderates, as they would be the only ones that could give Trump a run for his money. Republicans should remember the words of Napoleon: never interfere with your enemy when he is making a mistake. The Democrats have become so radical that it's hard for most Democrats to recognize their own party. They have left their prime group of constituents behind, which are the blue-collar working class, and have realigned themselves with any radical fraction they can find that will listen to them. It's going to be very interesting to see how many Democrats vote Republican in the next election for Donald Trump. Thank you very much again for my time.
Thank you. The floor goes back to the gentleman from Meridian. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
All right. Our great friend, Tea Party Bob, you as well. Let's go to Pro-Life on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Pro-Life.
Good morning. Yeah, the president is going to do the right thing by declaring a national emergency. The National Emergency Act of 1976 has been used 42 times already. Maybe not for something like this, but he has the right to do that. Now, this is between the president and the Congress. It's not between the president and the courts. So if Congress doesn't like him doing this, then they can just impeach him. And he's going to have to go to that point at some time or another. He might as well not do it in 2020. Might as well do it right now. And I say he just needs to put troops all across the border, sea to sea, close it all down, then go ahead and start building. And once it's closed down, people will see that it's really benefiting America not to have the immigrants, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens coming here. So I support that. I mean, hey, I would support a president using executive order to stop all the murder by abortion by little babies, you know.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, it ought to, too. And a lot of things could be done by and then, hey, is it worth it to get impeached over saving babies' lives? Of course it is. There's lots of things that is, impeachment doesn't mean that you're going to be removed from office. They're going to have to get 67 senators to vote to remove the president. They're not going to be able to do that. And so Trump just needs to play his cards right and stop messing around with him. He's not been tough enough. He should have fired Mueller. He should have cleaned up stuff a long time ago. There's a deep state, and I don't trust the FBI anymore. If they came to my door, I'd say, why should I talk to you guys?
They'd come to your door, they'd haul you away.
Yeah, he probably would. But anyway.
Some people might like that.
Yeah, then they wouldn't have to hear me on the radio, right?
Well, we wouldn't, but some people would.
Well, God bless you. And if a nation does not have godly Christian sexual morals, they will always be socialist. They'll always be messed up. That's just the way it is.
All right, pro-life, God bless. We appreciate you. More of your calls next. We are expecting the president to declare a national emergency as Idaho's first radio station. When you heard news on the radio, you heard it right here. We honor that great legacy each and every day. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And it might get a little tricky. This is why we're here for you at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. The president will be speaking very soon. We will carry that live, but before that, we will take more of your phone calls. So if you are calling in, we do want to hear what you have to say. We really mean it when we say join the conversation now. But once the president comes out of the Rose Garden or the West Wing or wherever it is to the Rose Garden, it is outside. We will go to that live, so you will hear the president right here this morning on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Tess joins us now. Tess, thank you for joining us on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hi, isn't it nice to have so many people come and call in? Well, I had to call in and ask Ray to clarify statements that it sounded like maybe a younger person made earlier, and it was about you being divisive. Hip, hip, hooray for you. And what the statement was had to do with them making a comment about Christians, making a comment about the Bible saying that a house divided. That's not in the Bible. Abraham Lincoln said that. What Jesus said is, do not think I come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. Okay, so there's the real division. People who believe in love, people who don't believe in pagan beliefs like murdering children at 9 months old. So I just wanted to call and clarify that because, boy, there's a weird source of information that tries to come forward and to beat you up for your Christian beliefs. But there's somebody who doesn't know what the Bible says.
Well, and to be fair, there's a young lady by the name of Michelle, and, Tess, her opinion was, I've become more further to the right, and it makes some people, I will tell you truthfully, in this building uncomfortable. It makes other people uncomfortable, but we didn't start this. And when you have people that launch attacks, and I will say this, and I've always tried to be as transparent as possible, we've had people come after me and come after people that support this program by saying that I'm a right-wing extremist, that the people that listen to this show are right-wing extremists. And we call them out. We just don't take it. We're going to say this, and if something happens, it's because of our beliefs. And this is what's at stake. They want to eliminate us. They want to eliminate you. They want to eliminate me. And they want to have this one world state, and that's what we're up against.
Right. A difference of opinion is so important. It's so important. I mean, you can't learn any lessons unless, you're wrong sometimes.
And something? You're a better person when you admit it. And as I've said for many, many years, a young man told me early on in my career, if you want to have a future in anything in life, you got to learn to take direction. And that applies to just about everybody.
That's true, right. And for those tens of thousands of people that heard that individual say that, know that that is not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible.
Well, look,
so don't take that to heart as a lesson.
I'm with you, but he without sin cast the first stone. So I appreciate the sentiment.
Thank you.
All right, Tess, God bless. Kevin Miller in the morning here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's get you to work safely and on time. Good morning, Dave.
I'm just Channel 7's Eric Gibbert.
Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Don't forget Sean Hay this afternoon and Lars Larson. If you missed the Lars Larson show, what an amazing interview he had with Ann Coulter. Hopefully we'll get a chance to air that again. And Ann Coulter saying that it's over. Ann Coulter basically saying that we might as well punt on America. I don't know if that's true. By the way, we will take more of your phone calls. I see a lot of you are on the line here at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But this is what makes our experience so unique together, is the ability to let you know that the president is about ready to speak, and when he does, we will go live to the president. He will declare a national emergency at the southern border. He will say that, look, I tried to work with the libs, and remember how he was met. Nancy Pelosi, you know something? Walls are immoral, and the president and his followers and people that love America will not get any funding for the wall. So what did the president have to do? Allow America to continue to be victimized or do the right thing?
It's not an emergency, what's happening at the border. It's a humanitarian challenge to us.
It's a humanitarian challenge. It's funny because they pushed him. He wanted to work with them. He acquiesced on the spending bill, and now they get the medicine.
The president has tried to sell a bill of goods to American people. But putting that aside, just in terms of the president making an end run around Congress, here he said, let us respect what the committee will do, and then he walks away from it.
Right, the committee. Now, Ray, we might go a little early, and if we have to come out of the break early, we will. You never know about the president, but here's a little bit more, and we'll see when the president joins us.
If President Trump decides to go forward with a disaster declaration, he'll be making a tremendous mistake. Declaring a national emergency would be a lawless act.
I don't believe that. I do get concerned when you have executives all of a sudden getting these big powers, right? Do we clearly want more and more power consolidated within the administration? That's a legitimate question. And at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, what is your answer? My answer is he's doing something. What other choice did he have? And I believe that the wall will work. I believe that the president's right. So what we will do now, and of course, as soon as we do this, the president will come out. But we're going to go to the news, and if and when the president speaks, we'll come out right away, and we'll get to those commercials eventually. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
And blessed to be with you. Still waiting for the president to make his big speech. While he does that, we'll make more of your phone calls. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. This issue involving declaring a national emergency, that has been done many times in the past. And in my opinion, what choice did the president have when you have people obfuscating and doing everything that they can and saying that they're going to do their very best to make sure that this doesn't happen, right? That's the idea. So he had no choice. All right, more of your phone calls. Let's go to Daryl in Boise with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Daryl.
Hey, I just wanted to respond to the comment that there's no house divided in the Bible, but if you looked at Matthew 12:25 or Luke 11:17 or Luke 12:25, you will find that very verse. Just wanted to clear that up. You all have a great morning.
All right, we appreciate it. Never let it be said that we're not down with the Bible here on KIDO Talk Radio. And really, I marvel at the folks of faith. And maybe that's a good one, the folks of faith, if you will. A lot of people are responding to a young lady who called in and said, Kevin Miller, you're going too far to the right. Hell, and we have Jim saying the Democrats are usually talking out of both sides of their mouth at the same time. On the other hand, they're trying to destroy the Constitution when it works for them, and when it goes against them, they want to complain that whatever the president is doing is unconstitutional. The SOBs can't have it both ways. And, I think, as with anything in life, you have to pick your team. And if you are on the side of traditional America, if you are on the side of you really liked America when you were growing up, as opposed to the world that we live in today, where Americans have become victimized, where Americans have become targets and vilified in their own country, and you want to go back to making America great again, well, this is your time. Because if not now, when? And by the way, another story that is going to resonate, I believe Andrew McCabe will be speaking to Scott Pelley from CBS on 60 Minutes. And CBS is starting to leak some of the information. And you can't tell me that there wasn't a deep state. And there isn't a deep state. You can't tell me that they weren't plotting to remove the president. Mueller has nothing. The Senate Intelligence Committee charged with investigating the president. Nothing. Adam Schiff, he's looking to try and conjure something up. Right? Here's the shocker. Andrew McCabe, an unelected, fired, disgraced FBI agent that, gosh, he should have been fired right before he could have gotten his pension. The day before, this guy wanted to use the 25th Amendment. He's the guy that opened up this false, phony, faux Russian investigation. Andrew McCabe. He did it. He was the one. McCabe, I knew it was you. And you have the Assistant Attorney General saying that he was joking about wearing a wire to try and get the president out of office. According to McCabe, he wasn't joking. And by the way, it's just like at work. It's just like at home. Somebody comes up and badmouths the boss, and you go along with it. Well, you're colluding. What do most people do? Well, I wouldn't joke about that, sir. You better check yourself. You're either on the mission, on the team, or not. Right? At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Back to your phone calls. We go to Dan in Marsing. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dan.
Well, howdy there, Kevin. Been a long time.
How is Marsing today?
Oh, it's been a little bit cold and windy, about like it is probably where you're at.
I would say.
Anyway, on the wall, I think that Trump needs to get it in there, and he needs to push it. And Pelosi, from my way of thinking, I think she's committing kind of treason.
Really?
I can't say it for positive, but when she doesn't want to protect the American people and she's preventing the president from protecting us, then to my way of thinking, it's like treason.
I would say.
And, I didn't fight for in the military for this and for them to take and tear our country apart.
Well, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're not offering anything better, are they? They're talking about getting rid of ICE, letting the illegals run wild, kissing up to Iran. I mean, we could go on and on. This is a national emergency.
Yeah, it is. And if we don't put a stop to it, our country is going to be destroyed.
Well, you see it now with the kids today. They want socialism. This is the biggest threat that we've faced in many, many years. Forget the new Green Deal. This is our challenge to save America.
That's what we fought against when I was in Vietnam.
Well, we need you once again, old soldier.
Well, I'll be in there fighting, and like I said, it's good to talk to you again because I mostly listen to you, but funny they kind of got me a little bit riled up.
All right. Well, thank you for your service.
Okay, and you too, Kevin.
Okay, God bless.
And you too.
All right, let's go to the president now on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio.
Thank you very much, everybody. Before we begin, I'd like to just say that we have a large team of very talented people In China, we've had a negotiation going on for about 2 days. It's going extremely well. Who knows what that means, because it only matters if we get it done, but we're very much working very closely with China and President Xi, who I respect a lot. Very good relationship that we have. And we're a lot closer than we ever were in this country with having a real trade deal. We're covering everything, all of the points that people have been talking about for years that said couldn't be done, whether it was theft or anything. The unfairness. We've been losing, on average, $375 billion a year with China. A lot of people think it's $506 billion. Some people think it's much more than that. We're going to be leveling the playing field. The tariffs are hurting China very badly. They don't want them, and frankly, if we can make the deal, it'd be my honor to remove them. But otherwise, we're having many billions of dollars pouring into our treasury. We've never had that before with China. It's been very much of a one-way street. So that's happening, and the relationship with China is very good, but I think they finally respect our country. They haven't respected us for a long time, not for a long time. The UK and the US, as you probably have been seeing and hearing, we're agreeing to go forward and preserve our trade agreement. You know all of the situation with respect to Brexit and the complexity and the problems, but we have a very good trading relationship with UK, and that's just been strengthened further. So with the UK, we're continuing our trade, and we are going to actually be increasing it very substantially as time goes by. We expect that the UK will be very, very substantially increased as it relates to trade with the United States. The relationship there also is very good. We have a lot of great announcements having to do with Syria and our success with the eradication of the caliphate, and that'll be announced over the next 24 hours, and many other things. A lot of positive things are going on. We're working on a summit, and you know all about the summit. It'll be in Vietnam, Hanoi, and we'll be meeting in Hanoi. I think a lot of you will be going, I suspect. And I hope we have the same good luck as we had in the first summit. A lot was done in the first summit. No more rockets going up, no more missiles going up, no more testing of nuclear. Get back our remains, the remains of our great heroes from the Korean War. And we got back our hostages. But we hope we're going to be very much equally as successful. I'm in no rush for speed. We just don't want testing. The sanctions, as you know, remain. Everything is remaining. China's been helping us, and Russia's been helping us. And South Korea, I think you can say, has been, we've been working very closely with South Korea, with Japan. But China, Russia on the border have really been at least partially living up to what they're supposed to be doing, and that's okay, as per the United Nations. So we will have a meeting on the 27th and 28th of February, and I think that will be a very successful, and I look forward to seeing Chairman Kim. We have also established a very good relationship, which has never happened between him or his family and the United States. They have really taken advantage of the United States. Billions of dollars has been paid to them, and we won't let that happen. But we think that North Korea and Chairman Kim have a tremendous potential as an economic force, economic power. Their location between South Korea and then Russia and China, right smack in the middle, is phenomenal. And we think they have a great chance for tremendous economic prosperity in the future. So I look forward to seeing Chairman Kim in Vietnam. Today I'm announcing several critical actions that my administration is taking to confront a problem that we have right here at home. We fight wars that are 6,000 miles away, wars that we should have never been in many cases, but we don't control our own border. So we're going to confront the national security crisis on our southern border, and we're going to do it one way or the other. We have to do it. Not because it was a campaign promise, which it is. It was one of many, by the way, not my only one. We're rebuilding the military. Our economy is thriving like never before. You look at other economies. They're doing terribly, and we're doing phenomenally. The market is up tremendously today. Not that that's anything, but, because I'll go back in and they'll say, oh, the market just went down. But the market is getting close to the new highs that we created. We have all the records. We have every record, but we're getting close to that point again where we'll create new records. So our country is doing very well economically, and we've done a lot. But one of the things I said I have to do and I want to do is border security, because we have tremendous amounts of drugs flowing into our country, much of it coming from the southern border. When you look and when you listen to politicians, in particular certain Democrats, they say it all comes through the port of entry. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's just a lie. It's all a lie. They say walls don't work. Walls work 100%. Whether it's El Paso, I really was smiling because the other night I was in El Paso. We had a tremendous crowd. And I asked the people, many of whom were from El Paso, but they came from all over Texas. And I asked them, I said, let me ask you, as a crowd, when the wall went up, was it better? You were there, some of you. It was not only better, it was like 100% better. You know what they did. But that's only one example. There are so many examples. In El Paso, they have close to 2,000 murders right on the other side of the wall. And they had 23 murders. It's a lot of murders. But it's not close to 2,000 murders, right on the other side of the wall in Mexico. So everyone knows that walls work, and there are better examples than El Paso, frankly. You just take a look almost everywhere. Take a look at Israel. They're building another wall. Their wall is 99.9% effective, they told me. 99.9%. That's what it would be with us, too. The only weakness is they go to a wall and then they go around the wall. They go around the wall and in. Okay? That's what it is. Very simple. And a big majority of the big drugs, the big drug loads, don't go through ports of entry. They can't go through ports of entry. You can't take big loads because you have people. We have some very capable people, the Border Patrol, law enforcement, looking. You can't take human traffic, women and girls. You can't take them through ports of entry. You can't have them tied up in the back seat of a car or a truck or a van. They open the door. They look. They can't see three women with tape in their mouth or three women whose hands are tied. They go through areas where you have no wall. Everybody knows that. Nancy knows it. Chuck knows it. They all know it. It's all a big lie. It's a big con game. You don't have to be very smart to know. You put up a barrier, the people come in, and that's it. They can't do anything unless they walk left or right, and they find an area where there's no barrier, and they come into the United States. Welcome. We've detained more people. Our border agents are doing such incredible work. Our military has been incredible. We put up barbed wire on top of certain old walls that were there. We fixed the wall and we loaded up with barbed wire. It's very successful. But our military has been fantastic, and I want to thank them. And it's very necessary. We've broken up 2 caravans that are on their way. They just are breaking. They're in the process of breaking up. We have another one that we haven't been able to break up yet. We've been actually working with Mexico much better than ever before. I want to thank the president. I want to thank Mexico. They have their own problems. They have the largest number of murders that they've ever had in their history. Almost 40,000 murders. 40,000. And they got to straighten that out, and I think they will. But I just want to thank the president because he's been helping us with these monstrous caravans that have been coming up. We had one that was up to over 15,000 people. It's largely broken up. Others have gotten through. And in Tijuana, you have a lot of people staying there. If we didn't have the wall up and if we didn't have the wall secured and strengthened, They would have walked right through. They'd be welcome to the United States. One of the things we'd save just a tremendous amount on would be sending the military. If we had a wall, we don't need the military because we'd have a wall. So I'm going to be signing a national emergency. And it's been signed many times before. It's been signed by other presidents. From 1977 or so, it gave the presidents the power. There's rarely been a problem. They sign it. Nobody cares. I guess they weren't very exciting. But nobody cares. They sign it for far less important things in some cases, in many cases. We're talking about an invasion of our country with drugs, with human traffickers, with all types of criminals and gangs. We have some of the greatest people I know. They've been with me from the beginning of my campaign, almost from the first week, the angel moms. Unfortunately, we have new angel moms. One incredible woman just showed me her daughter, who we're talking about, killed in the year of 18. I said, I haven't seen you before. She said, no, I'm new. I said, that's too bad. It's too bad. It's so sad. Stand up just for a second. Show how beautiful your girl was. Thank you. I have such respect for these people. Angel moms, angel dads, angel families. I have great respect for these people. These are great people. These are great people. They're fighting for their children that have been killed by people that were illegally in this country. And the press doesn't cover them. They don't want to, incredibly. And they're not treated the way they should be. They're fighting for other people because they don't want what happened to their children or husband or anybody. We have one young lady whose husband, please, stand up. Your husband was just killed in Maryland. Incredible man, just killed. Beautiful children won't be seeing their father again. These are brave people. These are people that they don't have to be here. They don't have to be doing this. They're doing it for other people. So I just want to thank all of you for being here. Okay, I really do. I want to thank you, incredible people. Last year, 70,000 Americans were killed, at least. I think the number is ridiculously low, by drugs, including meth and heroin and cocaine, fentanyl. Now, one of the things that I did with President Xi in China when I met him in Argentina at a summit, before I even started talking about the trade, it was a trade meeting. It went very well, but before I talked about trade, I talked about something more important. I said, listen, we have tremendous amounts of fentanyl coming into our country, kills tens of thousands of people. I think far more than anybody registers. And I'd love you to declare it a lethal drug and put it on your criminal list. And their criminal list is much tougher than our criminal list. Their criminal list, a drug dealer gets a thing called the death penalty. Our criminal list, a drug dealer gets a thing called, how about a fine? And when I asked President Xi, I said, do you have a drug problem? No, no, no. I said, you have 1.4 billion people. What do you mean you have no drug problem? No, we don't have a drug problem. I said, why? Death penalty. We give death penalty to people that sell drugs. End of problem. What do? We set up blue ribbon committees. Lovely men and women. They sit around a table, they have lunch, they eat, they dine, and they waste a lot of time. So if we want to get smart, we can get smart. You can end the drug problem. You can end it a lot faster than you think. But President Xi's agreed to put fentanyl on his list of deadly drugs. And it's a criminal penalty, and the penalty is death. So that's frankly one of the things I'm most excited about in our trade deal. You want to know the truth? I think maybe there's no more important point. We're going to make billions of dollars with this trade deal. It's going to be great for our country and great for China, I hope. Their market's down close to 40%. Our market's way up. We've picked up, since my election, trillions of dollars of worth. Trillions, many trillions. And China's lost trillions of dollars. But I want it to be good for China, and I want it to be good for the United States. So we'll see what happens. China's coming here next week, by the way. They're coming home, the traders. And then China's coming here next week. And then I'll be meeting with President Xi at some point after that to maybe for some remaining deals, we'll make them directly one-on-one ourselves.
And there we have it. It is official. The president declaring a national emergency right here, right now. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.